Welcome back to Chapter 8 tutorial. This is Object-Oriented Programming, Ymt218, and we are still discussing the questions or the lab session of Chapter 8. The focus here, as I said earlier, about strings, so we are solving a new rhythm of question. And by the way, such a question can be solved in different ways, not only just one way, but we are focusing on strings now, as we did earlier here in this question and this question. So in these two questions, we use strings to facilitate the solution or to make the solution easier. We will try to do this for this question. So look at this question. Write a program that asks the user to enter an integer number between 5 and 9 inclusively. That means we accept the numbers from 5 to 9 through 9, all of these numbers inclusively. That means 5 and 9 are also included. The program should display the output based on the entered number. For example, if the user enters 7, the program should display like this scenario. So it gives 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 spaces, then 7. So if 5, it will give 4 spaces, then 5. If 4, it will give 3 spaces, then 4, then it will start descending. So if 9, it will display 8 spaces, then 9, then 7 spaces, 8, etc. So 6 spaces, 7, 5 spaces, 6, 4 spaces, 5, 3 spaces, 4, 2 spaces, 3, 1 space, 1, then no space, 1, then we start descending. So this is descending, ascending, maybe, or whatever you want to call it. Like a staircase, we are descending, we are maybe, or function 1, function 2, or whatever. So we need to display this kind of scenario. We need to write a program to do it. Let's go directly to Python, and I will use methods. So I will use def main. And I will prompt the user to enter an integer number. So we are going to receive n, for example, integer. And this integer should be between 5 and 9 inclusively. So I'll tell the user enter a number between, maybe an integer, actually an integer number between 5 and 9. Okay, so we receive the value. Now what we have to do is we need to create a loop while n is greater than 9 or n is less than 5. What we are supposed to do is, if the condition is not, if the number is not within the range, the range that we are looking for, then we keep asking the user to re-enter, because what the user has entered is not valid or is invalid. So what we will say, okay, print. Now what we will say here, invalid entry. Okay. Try again. Now we will try to receive n again. Input, we need to change it to integer, so input integer, sorry, enter. I can copy this. Don't have to write it again, so that we keep the rhythm. Okay. So this one will be an infinite loop as long as we do not enter an integer number between 9 and 5. However, pay attention. Let's say if the user is not entering an integer number, there will be an exception raised. So you can use try and except. I don't want to include them now. You can include them. I explained about them multiple times. You can include the try block and the except or the type of exceptions, just for us to cover this idea. We don't have to write all the details every time. Okay, so let's exit the while loop. Now we got the number that we are looking for, the integer number. Then we need to display the scenario given to us. Okay, I can do two functions. Let's say func1 and pass to it n, and func2 and pass also n to it as an argument. And that's it, I'm done with main. So I will write the definition of func1. Well, you can use n as an argument, it doesn't matter. Here's a parameter, you can use any valid name, it's just fine. So now what we are looking for is displaying, I'm separating, so let me explain to you my idea. I will display this part, in one function. No, let me be more precise. This part in one function, and another part here in another function. So you have to pick up this one and keep it with one of them. You cannot include it with both. Why? Because it's displayed once. So we can display this side in one function and display this one in another, and that's much easier. There are also other ways to do it, but I mean, this is a convenient way for me. I will explain it to you. You can try your own way or customize your own solution. Let me just explain to you my own idea regarding this kind of question. Okay, so now we received n. N could be any number between 5 and 9 inclusive, so whatever it is, let's say 7 as exactly given in the question. So we need to display how many spaces before we display n? 6 spaces. Okay, good. So what we can do like this. Okay, here I will do like this. While n is greater than 1. Initially it should be, because it is between 5 and 9. Okay, so what I'm going to do, print. Now what I'm supposed to print, a space, how many times? Okay, this is the concatenation of the string, or actually the repetition of the string. So we have a string of just one space. I can repeat it how many times? Well, I can repeat it n-1 times. Why? Because what we are looking for here is displaying 6 spaces before displaying n. Okay, let's get back. So I display n-1, 6 spaces, for example, before displaying what? N. Okay, that will do. Then what am I supposed to do? What's the next iteration? The next iteration is 6 with 5 spaces before it. Well, how about if I decrement n? I can do that. So decrement it by 1. And the loop will keep on doing until we reach to 2. 2, I will display 1 space and then 2. Then it will decrement n, it will be 1. The loop will exit because 1 is not greater than 1. Okay, that's good. How about the second function? Def func2. We are receiving also n. You can use whatever variable name you like. Now, what am I going to do is, now here it's a bit different. Here we receive n the way it is, like if we are sending 7, it will be received 7 or 5 or 8 or 9. Here I need to start by 1 and then go ascending. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can say I equals 1. Okay, and then while I is less, not greater, less than n. Keep on looping. Okay. So what I will do, I will increment it. Oh, I start by, let me start by 0. Let me start by 0. Yeah, let me start by 0. Okay, and then I increment it, and then I print. Print what? So now we are looking for the display. So when we need to display, now look, if I'm going to display this one, if I multiply it by 1, what will happen here? I will get 1 space. So what I'm looking for is to avoid the space before 1. So I need to display I before incrementing it. Let me increment after. I'm sorry. Let me increment after the display. Let me try to do this. Okay. So initially is 0. So if one multiply or repeat any string by 0 time, then actually there is no string. It will just remain null. However, we would like not to display I. We would like to display I plus 1 because we are not interested in displaying 0. We are interested in displaying 1. So here we will get 0 space before 1, 0 space, and that's what we want. But we display I plus 0. 1 plus 0, that's 1. This is exactly what we want. Then we will move to 2. So I will be incremented. So it will be 1, still less than n. So 1 space, 1 times 1 space, that's 1 space. Then it will display 1 plus 1, 2. That will do. And you keep on moving until 7. Let's say, for example, if we are discussing 7, now I initially is 0, it will go until 6. So here we are displaying 7 with 6 spaces before. When it will be incremented, it will be 7, and 7 is not less than 7. It will exit the loop. Okay, let's call the main out of these loops, and let me see if I missed anything. I hope not. Let's just run directly. Okay, let's go for 7. Exactly the question is what the question is asking from us. Look, this is a perfect match of the output. We can rerun and see. Maybe we can rerun and try with 5 or 9. Maybe, well, 9 is big. 5, it works fine. There is no actually space here. It's just the display. So this is the idea. Because I avoided having any space here, it will be multiplied by 0, and that will not display a space. You can try it yourself and see how things will go. Alright, I hope you guys understand. This is the idea of displaying how many spaces, the repetition operator of repeating the character here. The character is space, so we will have how many spaces. If you multiply it by 0, the repeated 0 times, that means there is no null at all. And that's what we are looking for, and this is the idea. Okay, that's enough for this question. I will record another video. Until then, have a good time. Goodbye.